Sharon Stone, DiCaprio and Russell Crowe. A story of love, revenge and freedom. One day, a wandering woman appears in a town ruled by a tyrant named Gene Hackman. Gene Hackman has a handsome young son, played by Leonardo DiCaprio. There is also a preacher tormented by Gene Hackman, portrayed by Russell Crowe. The story revolves around these four characters. In 1881, a female gunslinger known as the Lady arrives in the town of Redemption, which is ruled by the ruthless outlaw John Herod. The film begins as Ellen, Sharon Stone, a female gunslinger who has crossed the desert, arrives in the town of Redemption. The townspeople gaze curiously at Ellen as she makes her entrance. John Herod, the region's top gunslinger who rules this town, holds a quick draw competition every year, offering a staggering prize of $123,000 to the winner. Gunslingers start to gather one by one in the saloon, and by evening, a town festival unfolds. While participants are signing up for the competition, Court, who used to be an excellent gunslinger and now lives as a preacher after leaving that life behind, is dragged in by Herod's men and forced to participate. When Court's life is in danger, Ellen steps in and saves him with her brilliant gun skills, applying to join the tournament herself. The next day, Court, still refusing to participate, is tied to the fountain in the town square. He tells Ellen that while he feels like killing them all as a man, he knows he must not do so. Finally, the matches begin, and the first duel takes place between Gutson and Kid Herod. Kid showcases his flashy gun skills and wins perfectly. However, John Herod does not acknowledge his son's success. The competition continues, and it is finally Court's turn. Given the cheapest gun and only one bullet by John Herod, Court tries to maintain his conviction as a preacher but eventually, under extreme tension, instinctively fires the gun. Before her first match, Ellen receives a valuable tip from Court that just before the bell rings, there is a clicking sound, and she easily wins her first duel. Meanwhile, as the quick draw battles continue, Ellen's true purpose for entering the tournament begins to surface. That evening, Ellen is invited to John Herod's dinner banquet, where she hears that the true purpose of the tournament is to preemptively eliminate potential future enemies among the gunslingers. Ellen also learns from Court about his tragic past with Herod. A preacher once saved both Court and Herod when they were severely wounded, but Herod threatened Court, forcing him to kill the preacher himself. Meanwhile, John Herod realizes that his next opponent, Cantrell, is a gunslinger hired by someone to assassinate him. The next day, the remaining 8 contestants compete in round 2. From the second round onward, Herod changes the rules to allow killing opponents. Herod easily defeats Cantrell in the first match and, as a warning to the townspeople who hired him, kills Cantrell. Suddenly, a storm rolls in, temporarily halting the competition. During this time, a tragic incident occurs where the saloon owner's young daughter is assaulted by the aging gunslinger Eugene. Furious, Ellen confronts him, dueling him in the storm and overpowering him but spares his life. However, when Eugene enters the saloon and provokes her again by firing shots, Ellen ultimately kills him. As Court prepares for his match against the Native American fighter Spotted Horse, Ellen, burdened by her first kill, decides to leave the town. Court narrowly wins his match with the help of the shoeshine boy. At the town's cemetery on the outskirts, Ellen meets an old man who knew her and receives her father's federal marshal badge. She recalls her past and returns to town to challenge John Herod to a duel. However, Herod tells her that his opponent has already been decided. Ellen seeks out Kid, with whom she has bonded, and earnestly tries to dissuade him. However, eager to gain his father's approval, Kid refuses to listen. Eventually, Kid loses to his father in a duel and dies. John Herod coldly declares that Kid was not his biological son. Court and Ellen face off in a match, but after a long standoff without firing, Court emerges victorious. Before the final round, one of Herod's men, without orders, cripples Court's hand. Herod kills the subordinate responsible for this action. Before the match, Herod orders his men to eliminate Court if he survives. While Herod is plotting, multiple buildings including his house and the clock tower explode. Ellen, with the help of Court and Doc, had planted dynamite using Kid's stash while pretending to be dead. As Ellen duels Herod, Court kills Herod's remaining men. Ellen then throws her father's badge at Herod's feet, revealing her true identity as the Lady. The Lady's real name is Ellen. Her father was a sheriff who was tortured by Herod's gang. Herod tied him with a rope and forced Ellen to shoot the rope by handing her a gun. When she fired with her eyes closed, she tragically shot her father. Traumatized, she left the town. Herod shoots Ellen, but she returns fire into Herod's eye, killing him. She throws the badge to Court and says that the law has returned to the town, then departs. The Quick and the Dead is a Western starring Sharon Stone. It is particularly appealing to those who love duel-centric Westerns due to its numerous shootout scenes. The central focus is one-on-one quick-draw duels in a tournament style. Sharon Stone, Gene Hackman, Russell Crowe, and Leonardo DiCaprio each deliver strong performances. Russell Crowe, appearing disheveled, hints at the charisma that would later make him famous in Gladiator and A Beautiful Mind. Leonardo DiCaprio, stepping into adult roles in his early 20s, shines with his handsome looks and stylish presence. There is also a slight romance with Sharon Stone. Gene Hackman plays a character reminiscent of his role in Unforgiven. The concept of a female gunslinger engaging in one-on-one duels is intriguing, and the film blends romance and action into a Western. Director Sam Raimi, who made his name with the Evil Dead series, later succeeded with blockbusters like Spider-Man. Raimi's works are known for their strong personality and eccentric elements. If you found my video helpful, please subscribe, like, and turn on notifications.
You're not fast enough for me!
Today I am.